Welcome to CSB Television. April is National Jazz Appreciation Month, National Poetry Month, National Autism Awareness Month, and International Guitar Month. In the month of April, we will be sharing videos from the past that has anything to do with guitars, autism, poetry, and jazz. Let's take a look at today's video. You're watching The Ready Writer, a show where I get to speak to writers of all different genres, mediums, and experiences. The Ready Writer. Are you ready? Hi, and welcome to the first episode of The Ready Writer. I'm Casey Bay, your host, and today's guest is poet Linwood Jackson. Join me as Linwood Jackson shares his journey of not only what he writes, but why he writes. What is the earliest memory you have of writing and discovering writing was something you enjoyed doing?
As a child, 7 years old, starting to write poetry. Basically, the themes of my poetry were framed around how I just saw life, like even at that young age, seeing two different worlds at home and at school. Just something in me just wasn't clicking. I wasn't meshing with the sort of zombie I was being trained to be. So I began to write poetry to who I only knew as God, the I in the above the sky. You know, taught as a child of not so much as religion, this, that, and the other, but you have a mind watching you. So my poetry was to that I, to that mind, questioning if that I mind saw me, if that mind perceived me, if that mind heard me. And from then I realized that writing was actually a form of expression, an expression not necessarily for anything but personal comfort. And that really is what got me started. I always knew I loved writing. I used to draw as a kid, but poetry was my first instance of writing and writing meaningfully to make sense of my reality. So after that, it became a quiet thing for myself to just write to myself. But after a while, it was just like, I need to make this my life.
Okay. Do you have a book?
It clicks into the first question. My book of poetry.
Okay. So
Recently published.
what was what said, hey, I should do this, I should take this journey of publishing my poems into a book? What was the inspiration and the encouragement? Because a lot of people want to do it, but they're making reasons as to why they can't. So what was the empowerment that told you you can do this and you should do it?
I guess the weight of knowing that there's someone on this planet going through what I'm going through, but having no one to talk to. Or there's someone on this planet going through something I'm going through and they're losing their mind because they think they're the only ones on earth going through it. So that was really the main function. I debated with myself, because initially my writings are research based on the philosophy within the Bible. So what I'm writing about is actually disproving what the Christian religion actually teaches. And so what I was finding was something more alleviating than what is traditionally taught. So it was, should I actually do this? I'm getting benefit from it. And if it was really supposed to be discovered thousands of years ago, it would have been by now. So clearly there's contentment with whatever's going on. So why should I care to disrupt that contentment? Mm-hmm. And then another thing, clicked in my head. Well, then if I'm not content, there's somebody else on earth that's not content. And I really don't want anyone else to feel discontent with their existence as I felt. So that was really the main motivation, my consideration of anyone else having the same thoughts as me or going through the same experience of me.
Cool. So what were some, I guess you can give the top 3 tips you would give someone. What were the surprises that came to you during the publication? Because school teaches us how to read, how to write, but they don't actually give you insight on how to actually publish your work. So what were some of the things you learned during the process?
The insight is go at it yourself, because there's a lot of individuals that will take advantage of your talent and your time. So experiencing that knowing the value of the work that you're putting into and not consenting to someone else's demeanor for it. So what's really not taught is the specific avenues that are out there. Yes, they're out there, and there are 1,001 bajillion marketing platforms and companies that are willing to help you, but at the same time, you're one, gonna have to give up a part of you to work with them to get the connections they have, or two, going in, blindly and having a very innocent passion that you have, you're going to risk a whole lot of money to these people that are really not caring to help you, but are just willing to rob you. So that's the number one is the robbery that's out there for a lack of initiative. The second thing is the different kind of publishing companies that are out there that you're trying to get your work to. They are very peculiar, and they're very particular with who they accept. And even if your work doesn't really match slightly, you're not going to be accepted. So if you have a particular brand that you're trying to get out into the world, or a particular standard that you're trying to set, I'm always asked the question, would you rather go the publishing route or the self-publishing route, the independent route or the non-independent route? And truly, if you really just stay true to yourself, you will end up with the connections that you need to get you into that connected route. So go through those, get some sidewalk in your shoulder, get curb stomped a little bit. But in the end, it comes down to you and the loyalty that you have to your brand, so that when you're going through that, somebody else can see that and be just as loyal to your brand as you are. Because I now have a team that's structured around me that's even more dedicated to what I do and to what I say, and sometimes than I am. And so it's kind of like they're feeling distraught about not getting the work done. Meanwhile, I'm just going about my business and they're feeling a certain way. And like, that's positive. That's positive teamwork. So, the first one's robbery. The second one is positive teamwork. And the third one is just circulation. Doing what you have to do to be loyal. I know it connects to the first two, but circulation as a writer, the publication process really isn't taught, and you're going to go through different publishing houses that will send you on different routes and avenues, and that will discourage you. But in the end, doing a little bit of research daily on how to market your brand, on how to publish, on how to edit correctly, because it's also a thing about editing. If you're not editing correctly, you're not going to be seen publicly proficiently. And so there's editing, there's marketing, there's even specific colors to choose on books that you print that go along with the title of your book. So it's it's all in the end psychological, but it's also emotional, bent on feeling to the audience. So watch out for robbery. Make sure your feelings connect with your work and your audience, and also the connection part, establishing your own.
Awesome. Just to piggyback on that, I would add to anyone watching who wants to be a published writer to research, because I know when you talk about publishing a book, the first thing people think about is the traditional way of publishing is getting an agent and getting them to publish. But something I just recently found out is that if you go the original route and they say yes to you, they give you in advance. So they give you like such and such $1,000. But what I just found out is that advance is really a interest-free loan, because you have to pay it all back.
Yep.
Like, it's not something you just keep for yourself.
Many people don't know that.
And it's like, I didn't even know that. And I think most people don't know the actual real steps, because they're so excited they don't actually read the contract that's given to them. They just sign it. And the next thing you know it, you're like, hello, we want that money back. And you're like, what money? Yeah. So I would definitely say research, because there are 3 different ways to publish, but most times we want what we consider is the easiest way. And technically they each have their easy sides, but there really is no easy way. And you got to go by what cons are you not willing to live with, and then make sure you don't choose that pathway. So next question.
And also, to go along with what you said.
Go ahead.
To just piggyback off of what you just said, it's the advance thing is a very odd stipulation because they're giving you an advance, but it's based off of their estimated margin of success for you. So if you don't meet that estimated margin of success, then you have to give that advance back. That's really not your money, as you were saying. But if you can meet up that standard, which again it involves you, not
Right.
you're with a company that backs you, but at the end of the day, you still have to put in the effort as if you're independent.
Mm.
So that money, they're giving you that advance. They're like, listen, this is $25,000 that we believe is good enough and satisfies what we imagine this book plus your profits to be. Whether you exceed that, that's just even more beautiful. That's just more money that you'll get afterwards. But if you don't, they don't really tell you that when you spend that money, they want to give it back. But that's the money that they're estimated to give you for the product that they're just giving you. So it's really not yours. Like, best bet, hang on to that in the savings account, or but even though they give you that advance, you still have to put in the work like you're a dog and you're just independent. So that's also something that really, as you were saying, isn't too explained.
Yeah. So next question. Are you working on anything new at the moment?
Yes.
Any new works? Okay.
Yes, I just finished editing a new book. The only thing that needs to be done is a little bit more of the layout for the inside, and also the book design, front and back. But this book is actually taking a step to my original work. Uh, just now published a book of poetry, which was my critical creative side coming out. This time it's back to researching specific philosophies that are within the Bible, and helping to make sense of the teachings that are taught within the Bible as opposed to what is taught by traditional religion.
Okay, that sounds awesome. So my last question for you, I always like to end with a on topic but somewhat off the topic question to get you thinking.
Okay.
And so, dead or alive, name, I'll say a poet that you would like to take a plane ride with, and where would you go? Where would your location be?
Okay. Where are we starting from? Where's the starting point?
Wherever you live.
Okay. Wherever I live. All right. Starting point is wherever I live. So we're in Boston. Where are we going? I'm gonna go to. Oh man, the world is so crazy right now.
Well, pretend there is no COVID at
Okay.
all. Everything is fine.
Okay, I'll say Australia.
Okay, and with which poet?
With Alice Walker.
Okay,
I'll take
yes,
a plane ride from Boston to Australia with Alice Walker.
that's
That,
nice.
yes,
And
def.
what do you admire like about Alice Walker?
I admire her delivery.
Okay,
The delivery that she has is just so intelligent, and it's so moving. Her delivery is just so potent that it kind of just it makes you sit back when you finish reading the entire poem of hers, or when you get to the center of her poem, or when you get to the sixth line of her poem. The delivery is an educated raw. Like, there's raw out there, but hers is an educated raw, and it makes you think, and it makes you see from a perspective that is contrary to the perspective that you think you're seeing. Like, so for example, when she talks about race, when she talks about the subject of abortion, and how a black woman should see an abortion as being something as a heroic act to save her black child from the weight that is going to be placed against them in this life, by another race that sees them as more superior than them. That is not a poem you would expect a black woman to write.
right.
And yet it should be. It should be, because while she's saying all of this about abortion, and that it should be looked at as a heroic act, she's actually getting you to think about the fact that it's not a heroic act. and that to have that child actually born, despite the weight or the burden that is put on them because of their skin color, what is inside of them has the ability to do something relevant, not just at that time, but ages beyond. So there's a flip to what she's saying, and she gets you to think about it. And the delivery to that flip is just absolutely brilliant, beautiful, elegant, and such a flow.
And why Australia?
Just because it's just, I imagine it being a very long plane trip.
Oh.
So, I'm just strictly, I do not know the route from, Boston to Australia, but I'm just assuming that it's going to be more than 6 hours.
Okay.
So that's the only reason.
All right.
Are you willing to become a creation? It isn't hard to become a creation. Every day, and since we were children, who we are is shaped by images and ideas that are without us, that are outside of us, that do not come from us, but do come from others. We have accepted in the place of our own the images and ideas of others since we were little. So creation isn't the issue, but the manner in which creation is to take place, and the aim or intention behind that manner of creation. That is the issue. We are accustomed to creation through a type of programming. We are become creations of society, of mother and father, of priest and pastor through programming. We aren't made to think about the images and ideas given to us, but to simply do them, because it is the norm. We are programmed to think and feel in a certain way, and if that thought is disturbed, if that feeling is challenged, then whoever or whatever disturbs or challenges or programmed reality, they must be thought of negatively. Or reality is the invention of a mind that is not ours, and we don't even realize it. And if we do realize it, for some reason, we don't care. What we value, who we value, and how we value what we value is the invention of a mind that is not ours, and we don't even honestly care to realize it. We are creations programmed to believe that an unconscious existence is conscious living.
That is all the time we have today for the Ready Writer. If you'd like to be a guest, go to the website that is in the description below for more information on signing up. We thank Linwood Jackson for sharing his time with us on the Ready Writer. Thank you for watching. That is all the time we have for you for today. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you again